Magic city climbing high, shining walls reflect the sky. Magic city in the sun has the darkness on the run. It's growing bright, the city, light the city, right the city now. We're going to chase the shadows, erase the shadows from our city now. Air-conditioned rooms we see, fan is ancient history. Old facades must pass away, like the horse, they've had their day. Old walls tumbling into dust, signs proclaiming dig we must. All that stood is falling fast, we're removing from the past. It's growing bright, the city, light the city, right the city now. We're going to chase the shadows, erase the shadows, no more shadows now. We'll take a city block and tear it down. We'll put a new skyscraper in the ground.
Look at you, Leone, on your shovel. A movie star.
Yeah, that was the day I had that toothache. What a day that was.
Why can't you ever enjoy anything? Here they invite us to see a movie of ourselves. Right away you start complaining.
The shovel looks good.
Hey, there you are, Lucky.
There's that bellringer Johnson.
Here's Jimmy Kelly from Staten Island.
And that rigger from Ohio.
And Saul Schwartz, that was a Dodger fan. That bum.
Hey, who's that?
Aluminum workers in Louisville.
Oh, thanks, Mr. DeSimone.
You know, this building was built all over the country.
Places like Chicago, Detroit, Bethlehem, Portland.
Hey, what, dames?
Sure, Murphy. A lot of women helped on this one.
There's the boss.
Same old smile.
There's that driller they call Turk.
Well, they got everybody in this picture?
Almost.
Well, where am I?
Not you, Murphy. You'd break a lens.
Break a leg.
There you are, Mr. DeSimone.
The man that built the building.
Not by myself. I was just a field supervisor. The builders there built the building. They went to see the architect who started the wheels rolling. You know, it took 3 years advance work before you men came on 666.
Then after the architect, what?
Well, then came the model maker and his model. Then the designers who put it all down on paper. The draftsmen who worked out the details. And the blueprints began to pile up.
Boy, did they ever pile up.
Contractors came in with their estimates. Subcontractors for every single part of the job. Then it was time for some choices. What kind of interiors? Samples. What kind of exteriors? Every detail was worked out to the decimal before you men ever heard of the job. Then the old buildings were torn down.
And one day we began to dig.
Boy, that's one big hole.
40 feet deep.
Largest excavation ever dug on Fifth Avenue.
You really gotta dig.
You gotta dig way down, 40 feet down. You gotta dig way down below the ground. You gotta blast that bedrock out of your way before you start to climb. You gotta dig that way.
Yeah, that was the day I had the toothache. where all that rock goes to, Murphy?
Me, I'm an ironworker.
Well, those trucks take it all the way to Jersey. They use it to fill in the marshes.
You mean they're taking New York to New Jersey?
Wise guy.
You gotta fill those forms with strong concrete. You gotta put that building on its feet. You gotta pour those columns tall and strong. If you're gonna climb, you gotta fill those forms. It takes a lot of men, a lot of time to put a scraper in the sky.
What's this?
You don't know how steel comes in, Leone?
Me? I run a shovel.
Well, it comes up the river on barges and it's loaded on trailers. You see?
Looks simple.
Simple. When we need a piece, it's got to be the one we want. The one we want's got to be the one on top of the bundle, right, Mr. DeSimone?
That's right. The city won't allow steel to be piled up in the streets.
Be one mess if it ever did.
When the contractor was doing his planning, he had to make sure that every piece of steel was delivered as needed. That's logistics.
What's logistics?
Ah, honestly, Leone, that's logistics. That truck moving the steel on a time schedule through the streets and up to the job. You see? Where we iron men take over. Now watch how we swing it into place, piece by piece. Hey, you see that guy pulling the ropes? That's Harry Schneider. He's got a tough job. He's a good man, too.
Thanks, Murphy.
Oh, I didn't know you were here, Schneider. I take it all back.
What's so tough?
Well, he has to guide every piece of steel into position, Dunko. It's one bell up, two right, and so forth.
Hey, that's me again. Ain't that me? I look good, you know.
Not bad for a foreman.
Maybe you could learn something from a foreman. Tell him, will you, Lucky?
You see that, Leone? We don't use rivets anymore. Now we bolt the steel on. Just like a rector says. Right piece in the right place. Matching up, always matching up.
Santa Claus.
Watch the months fly now, boys. January, February, March, April, May, June. There, it's July.
There goes the big one. How big was that one?
60 feet long and 3 inches. That column supports 40 stories.
We're going up now.
We were high.
30 floors up.
How can anybody be dumb enough to go up there?
Well, that's where the men get separated from the boys. Hey, that's me up there. Far above the avenue, just beneath the clouds, where the sun gleams on the steel beams, that's me up there. Should you wonder what could be swinging on that beam, let me tell you, it's no dream, dear, that's me up there. I'm no average guy, oh no, danger is my name. If you wanna fly, live high, I'm your game. Bring them all and let them squeal at your boy that works in steel. Tell them, sell them,
that I'm real. That's me up there.
Hey, that's pretty.
Look at all the floors.
What do you think? While you were fooling around up there, nobody was working?
That's right. Matter of fact, the way we operate in the U.S. is pretty unique when it comes to building these big ones. We dovetail the operations.
Oh, you mean like one job on top of another?
Well, actually, one job under another. When steel is up 6 stories, the carpenters are building forms for the floors under them, and the concrete is being poured. Still under that, you've got steam fitters getting pipes in. And then you've got electricians and so on, all to save time.
Now, this is where we were ready for the walls, for the first aluminum panel.
Hey, you know, I always wondered, why do they put those bumps on them?
For strength, Murphy.
Listen, do you really like them, Mr. DeSimone?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Anything different takes time to get used to, and new materials are one of the few new ideas in skyscrapers in the last 50 years. No maintenance ever once you get them up, and they go on fast.
Hey, you know, I heard of this job on Park Avenue, 22 floors. Well, they covered it with these panels in 9.5 hours, the whole thing.
I was on that job, Lucky. Great thing about them, just take them out of the boxes, slide them into place, and bolt them on.
Okay, you sold me, Mr. DeSimone. I'll take one. Who's that?
I don't know.
Never saw him in my life.
Well, you like that. Perfect stranger.
There goes St. Pat's.
You know that church is seeing 3 big buildings come and go on that one site?
Shows how fast the city changes.
You never know from one day to the next.
This city's gonna be okay once they get it finished.
Ah, those juicy sirloin steaks.
And a champagne.
And the caviar.
It takes a lot of men, a lot of time to build up to the sky. It takes a lot of loads, lot of miles. Put that scraper high. Lot of loads, lot of miles, 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 lot of loads, lot of
Hey, that looks like a steam engine. Man, that's big. What is it?
That's a chiller. 50,000 pounds, air conditioning.
It's more than I got in my room.
1/5 the whole cost of this building was air conditioning.
Man, that is really big.
It takes a lot of men, a lot of time to build up to the sky. It takes a lot of loads, a lot of miles. Put that scraper high. Lot of loads, lot of miles, 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 lot of.
Here's where the inside men took over.
I was on Park Avenue by that time.
Did you know it took as long to build the inside as it did the outside?
No kidding.
A lot of work.
It takes a lot of loads, a lot of miles. Put that scraper high.
Takes a welder, welding well. It takes a torch with a flame on the end. It takes a man to put the vents in, a man to fit the vents. Takes them all, everyone takes them all. It takes a rule and a ladder, electric drill. It takes a hammer and a carpenter too. It takes a nail and a wrench, a plane and a wire. It takes them all, everyone takes them all. It takes a whole lot of pipe, a lot of thread. It takes a gear and a spindle to spin. It takes 1,000 different sizes, gears, spindle sizes, takes them all, everyone takes them all. It takes a mason setting mortar from the trowel, sand, lime, and water too. It takes the lime, sand, and water, lime, plaster, mortar, takes them all, everyone takes them all. It takes a painter and a paintbrush, fresh coat of paint. It takes a man to lay the mastic down. It takes a man to lay the mastic, a man to lay the tile, takes them all, everyone takes them all. It takes a pile of blueprints, mile of cable, splice, pliers too. It takes a man to tie the cable, 1,000 yards of cable, takes them all, everyone takes them all.
And then we were in business.
And that building came alive. It takes steam valves, steam fitters, air fans, fan makers, water falling elevators, buttons, panels, switchboard, cables, copper buckets, nails, plumbers, plaster trucks, pails, ships, sailors, architects, steel, iron, aluminum, bells, rivets, telephones, drills, wires, engineers, sand painters, blueprints, stone, masons, concrete, glass, gravel, steam shovels, trains, trailers, train men, winches, welders, steel men, drivers, riggers, draftsmen, scrapers, shiners, sanders, sweepers, handlers, holders, mixers, shifters, heavers, fillers, bracers, pourers, loaders, lifters, pushers, pullers, pilers, packers, nailers, diggers, builders, busters, boxers, blasters, TNT.
And so today, 18 months from the time ground was broken, the building opens. More than 2 million people have worked directly or indirectly on it. More than 2,000 men have been involved in the actual job. These people come from every state in the country. Much of their work has been done in places far from the city. Now her tenants will come. Like the men who made her, from far and near, and visitors will come from every corner of the earth. And so another skyscraper takes its place in the city.
Every day the way I go is a reckless chase, and the mad New York I know is a hectic place. But when the sun is falling low and the dusk descends, no more recklessly I go, all my turmoil ends. My Manhattan, lovely isle, in the twilight wears a smile, and I know her spell is cast as my heart beats sudden fast. Like the moth I'm drawn to her haunting blaze. I'll hang on to dawn with her in her blinding haze.